I guess I wanted to mention like the Mighty Boosh. Like I don't know, did I mention this before? But it's like I didn't realize Noel had a wig. Like I thought that was his real hair.
You didn't realize what?
Uh, the who is it in the Mighty Boosh? It's like Vince Vince Noir. Like he has a wig.
Oh,
Like I thought that was his real hair. Damn, that dude has nice hair. It's a wig.
I'm bad at spotting wigs. I've noticed, like, I've seen so many times where like movies or shows are referenced online and people are like making fun of the wig that an actor is wearing.
Mhm.
And I'm always like, oh, that was a wig? Okay. I didn't realize.
I guess I don't know what to look for either.
Maybe it's because I don't have hair, so I don't know what to look for.
I don't know. Anyway, let's see what was the other thing. Yeah, I got a few honorable mentions.
You're like really quiet, by the way.
So
All
you
right,
want
so
you
we're
want to start?
doing family films, right?
Yeah, I guess family shows. Like I don't think I'll have enough to go one way or another.
Yeah, it was. There's another one to kind of. It's a little difficult to pin down, and once I started thinking about it, I knew, which ones to pick. But I was like, I mean, Disney films would all count.
Mm,
Um, there's like, and then there's just like family-friendly movies that I wouldn't really consider family films.
mm, I
Um,
guess I
yeah,
can.
like I saw like The Princess Bride was listed,
Oh, okay.
when you Google like best family films or whatever.
I
I'm
didn't.
like, I mean, I guess you got the grandpa and the son, which is a really sweet like family dynamic thing going on.
Hmm.
But other than that, it's really not that much of a family movie. I don't think it's family friendly, but
Yeah,
no,
I guess I don't know. It's like I kind of hate Disney, so I try to
yeah,
avoid those kind of movies.
I don't avoid them. They're usually pretty solid. I like Pixar too, so
Well, yeah, I guess Despicable Me is okay.
yeah, I liked Inside Out. I thought that was excellent.
Haven't seen it.
Oh man, it's so good. It's one of my favorites. I think that's is that Pixar? I think that's Pixar. Um, I'm not good with remembering what studio did what. I usually
Yeah,
just default to, well, do they sing? If they sing, then it's probably Disney, and if they don't, then it's probably
oh,
Pixar.
yeah. I was like, yeah, I guess I completely forgot about Toy Story. It's like I don't really
Yeah, Toy Story's awesome.
like Toy Story that much, but it's okay.
Oh, I love Toy Story. I haven't seen the fourth one though. I've seen the. I think the third one ended on such a great note that I just can't imagine where a sequel would even go. Um,
Yeah, I don't know. I
so
I think a lot of those are like bonding with your kids, and since I don't have
hmm
any kids, like that aspect of it is missing.
Yeah, some of them are like that, and you'll see the ones that I chose. It's a lot of like reminiscing on childhood, um,
Okay.
and that's another thing that I was kind of like. I kept defaulting in my mind to just thinking of children's movies made primarily for children.
Yeah.
But there's movies that are kind of like you're talking about, like you share with your children and experience together.
Yeah, I guess I would think of like Harry Potter specifically.
Mm-hmm.
Like it seemed like a lot of like that was they were almost protective of the franchise because it was that like them bonding with their kids. So they're like,
Yeah,
you can't make fun of
which I
Harry
get.
Potter,
I mean, I get it, and it's
kind of.
Harry Potter specifically. I think it spans such a big time period too
Hmm.
that a lot of the adults who were having kids read Harry Potter when they were kids. So they're sharing that aspect with their kids of like, you know, uh, almost getting to relive that feeling through their children. So I get why people are protective of that franchise and why people get kind of weird about it. Um, I mean, J.K. Rowling is still a piece of shit, and you can still like Harry Potter.
I
There's
don't
nothing
care.
wrong with that.
It's like
Yeah,
the. I guess I like crazy art from terrible people.
yeah. Well, I mean, that's a lot of art. Like, I'm not gonna stop watching Kevin Spacey movies. If there's a new Kevin Spacey movie, I probably won't watch it because I guarantee it'll be trash.
Oh,
Because the only job he can get is trash now. But like Seven or uh, you
right.
know,
Oh yeah, he's in
some
that.
you know,
Anyway,
yeah,
yeah, I was
that's still
trying.
a piece of shit.
Yeah, I was trying to think of somebody, but then I looked at my list and forgot everything I was gonna say. But I guess Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle. Like
Damn, that's a good one. I didn't think of that. I
it's
gotta
like
add. That's is that a honorable mention?
yes, I guess
That's a good one.
specifically. Wait, did I mention that before? It's like when I was in elementary school. It's like that came out, and I was the little kid loving Michelangelo saying "do that"
Okay,
like
that's
every other
hilarious.
word.
That's really funny.
So
I
yeah.
can't judge because when I was in elementary school, like fifth or sixth grade, when you're really starting to try to develop your own personality, I'm pretty sure Bill and Ted really influenced the way I still fucking talk sometimes.
Hmm.
So I get it. Ninja Turtles, I had an interesting history with because that was one of those that I wasn't allowed to watch.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
There was a lot of stuff I wasn't allowed, a lot of media that I wasn't allowed to consume, and most of it was because of like the evangelical
Huh.
shit that my mother was into.
Okay.
Um, like they were all in on the satanic panic.
Hmm.
So there was quite a lot of stuff that like I know I would have fucking loved D&D when I was a kid, but I never got to play it because that was like devil worship to them.
Yeah.
Um, but the funny thing about Ninja Turtles is you would think, okay, did she come up with some way that it was demonic or Satan or whatever? No, she just thought it was too violent for a kid to watch,
Huh.
which
Okay.
is weird because I grew up on fucking Die Hard. So I don't know. There was a lot of inconsistencies with stuff that I think she just took a disliking to it for some reason, and that was her
Yeah.
excuse.
Or maybe she just didn't know and didn't want to look into it.
Yeah, yeah. Um, but that being said, I did watch the movie quite a lot as a kid. Somehow,
Huh.
I still figured out ways to, because I think it was one of those that was always on TV at some point. Um,
Okay.
So
But
I
yeah,
did see it
yeah,
as a
it's like,
kid.
yeah, my parents, they had like nothing but Disney movies. So it's like growing
Hmm.
up, it was like Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, Mary Poppins, and Condor Man.
Yeah,
So,
on
yep.
Betamax. I remember watching The Toy with Richard Pryor, I think, is
Mhm.
in that.
Yeah,
I watched that at your house on Betamax. It's the only time I ever watched a movie on Betamax.
yeah. My dad still has those.
They still have those? They got to be like deteriorated by now, right? Are they even
I
usable?
I don't know. I haven't tried to use them.
Dude, you should try, man. Like next time you're over there, you should see if it still works. I'm really curious.
Yeah, I don't know. Kind of scared. It'll just crumble in your hands.
like like the fucking Dead Sea Scrolls. Shit, you gotta wear gloves,
Yeah,
be in like a sealed
maybe.
room to look at it.
Um, but yeah, it's like I guess the other types of movies is like I would go to school and they would show these, and it was like I don't think they showed Legend, but I'm pretty sure they showed the Never-Ending Story.
Yeah, I remember that one. That
It's
was
like
one of my honorable mentions
I
too.
think yeah, Legend was like later.
Oh, Legend was one that um yeah, Never Ending Story was what I was saying. I watched a lot as a kid, but Legend was another one I wasn't allowed to watch because of the big devil guy.
Yeah, and like Dark
And
Crystal, just because that dark in the name, I guess. I don't know.
yeah, and Crystal.
Yeah,
Because Crystal, an evangelical, is just going to automatically assume that it's some new age thing. And they really hated the new age thing,
yeah.
which is funny because after
Anything
my mother
pagan.
left, huh?
Mhm. Anything pagan.
A- yeah, yeah. Um, After my mother left the church, she she like pendulum swinged in the other direction
Huh.
and got really into new agey shit. And you know, she's probably still got dozens of crystals around the house. So,
Okay.
but then she just kind of swung back to a mostly normal Christian. So,
Yeah,
but yeah,
my parents have been pretty consistent.
yeah, that was one thing I noticed. Hell, I noticed that when we were kids, I would always like get kind of annoyed because I was like, yeah, okay, even if Josie's parents are have like ridiculous rules or something, at least they're consistent with it. Like mine were not very consistent. There were things they were consistent about, like Dungeons and Dragons and shit like that, like because it was in the media all the time
Huh.
that it
Like
was devil stuff.
I
So
don't even remember knowing about it that much. Just like it
yeah.
never appeared. And like I guess we went to Flower Mound, so kind of our own little bubble.
Oh yeah. I never, until I was in high school, I never experienced like Dungeons and Dragons. Um, like I never saw a book or anything like that, or nobody ever talked about it in elementary school, except at fucking church. They never shut up about it. They were obsessed with it.
Huh.
Just it was like heavy metal music too. I never experienced that until I got into high school.
Hmm.
But I knew it was a thing because of church, because they never shut up about it.
Oh, okay. You
And
mean complaining about it?
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Um,
I thought you meant that like there was a peer group like doing it on the side.
oh no, no, not that I'm aware of. If there was, I wasn't invited.
Yeah.
So,
Uh,
um, but I do remember. I remember when I don't know if you and I were friends yet. Do you remember when I spent like 4 or 5 months in Michigan at my uncle's house? No, I don't.
I don't think so.
I don't think you and I were friends yet because that would have been seventh grade, which is when we became friends. I think, right? Was it seventh grade?
I think so.
Yeah,
You
I think it
mentioned
was when
art
I
class.
moved back from Michigan.
Could be.
Um, was when we had that art class. Anyway, uh, my my aunt's church up there was like crazy evangelical, even by my standards at the time. Like
Oh,
I was kind of used to my mother's brand of evangelical, but these people were nuts. And
okay.
I remember they took all of us into the basement of the church where they had their little Sunday school thing, all the kids, and they had a record player with some album, and they were like playing it backwards, and it was just gibberish, and they were like, see, you can hear he's praying to Satan, and I'm like, I don't hear it.
Yeah, I think you're projecting a little bit.
Yeah, yeah. Anyhow, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, good choice.
Yeah, I probably should have put it on the list, but I don't know. I guess for my number three, I was gonna go with One Piece. So, and that's more of a, I guess, an anime Harry Potter.
Okay.
Like
I've heard the title, but I don't know anything about it.
it's a pirate anime, like
Okay.
a group of friends searching for treasure. So I guess the main thing I liked about it was I guess it emphasizes the friendship, how important friends are.
Okay.
And then, like the anime itself, it's just so. It's like when you're pulling a thread on a sweater and it just keeps going.
Hmm.
Like, just the amount of detail they put into every single character is crazy. It's like everybody has a full backstory.
Maybe I should check that one out. Sounds.
I mean, it's huge.
Is it a show or a
Yeah,
movie?
it's been going on for like 20 years now. They
Huh.
have movies. I haven't really watched the movies. I don't really read
Hmm.
the manga. Like every now and again, I'll binge it on the current arc.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, it still has the quality of it too. Like it hasn't lost the novelty of it
Right.
because a lot of like Bleach and Naruto, they seem to just I don't know, like
Yeah. As a non-anime person, I always kind of lumped those two in with like I hear One Piece and I just think of Bleach or Naruto or whatever it's called, and
yeah, and those
like
like they just
they're the
I don't know.
same thing in my head.
Yeah, it's just somewhere along the way they just lost what the purpose was, and
Hmm.
somehow One Piece has still got that childhood innocence with it. Maybe it's because Luffy's just such a dumbass. I don't know. Like the
Okay.
lovable moron.
Oh, like me. Okay.
No. Yep.
You're not supposed to agree. Anyway,
Oh, I guess you forgot that I think all humans are morons,
oh,
and
right, right,
myself
right. Yeah.
included.
It's just a question of whether they're lovable or not.
Yeah, that's the important bit.
Yeah, yeah, that's fair. Yeah. I have an honorable mention. I have two honorable mentions, and one of them almost made it on the list, but I didn't put it on the list for one specific reason. Um, so one of them is Jumanji,
Hmm.
um, which also reminds me that all the movies, or at least the top three that I chose,
Mhm.
are some variation of group of childhood friends go on an adventure. Like
Okay.
that's what they all are. I
Yeah.
guess I'm just a sucker for those. Um, and Jumanji's kind of like that. Well, it
Oh, okay.
definitely is, but it's not like a group of child. It's I think like three children or something, um, and then some adults. But yeah, that's just a fun fucking movie. Um, and I do mean the original, not the
With
remake.
Robin
The remake is
Williams.
fine. Yeah, with Robin Williams.
Okay. Because
Yeah.
I'm not
Um,
sure that's the original. Like I thought it was a remake,
I
but
mean, if
I don't know.
yeah, if there's some obscure movie from back, I mean the not the one with The Rock.
Okay.
Not that I don't like The Rock,
He has his moments.
but I don't really like The Rock. No, I like most of his movies fine, I guess. I think
Yeah.
I don't really my controversial opinion. I don't think I like him very much. He seems very
I guess I was getting
like
him and that one guy mixed up. Um,
I can't imagine who you would get The Rock mixed up with.
that other dumb wrestler.
I
What's
don't
his
know.
name? I'll have to look
John
it up.
Cena.
Um, no. He does he play Groot? No, that's not right.
You talking about Vin Diesel?
No.
Because he that's Groot, and he was never a wrestler that I know of.
Uh, true. Um, no. He Guardians of the Galaxy. Um,
Hmm. Oh, oh, fuck.
yeah, that dumb guy,
Yeah, um,
Chris Pratt.
Chris Pratt. Yeah,
But
no, Batista.
yeah, Batista.
Yeah, I like that guy. I think he needs to do more like dramatic shit. He was really, really good in his very small role in Blade Runner. Um, and he
Wasn't
was really good in that M. Night Shyamalan movie that was
that's what
very mediocre.
that's what I was gonna bring up. Like
Yeah,
I was thinking of him in that.
I think he's a good actor. Um, The Rock, I think, is charming, but that's about it.
I
And
think he could be a good actor. He just doesn't go the extra mile. Like
yeah,
he
he just,
stays in his comfort zone, and you
yeah,
know,
which is fine.
well,
That's
it's
fine.
you know, he's found his cash cow, I guess. So
Yeah,
he
he's
doesn't.
good at it.
Yeah, he doesn't have to do anymore.
Yeah. I said I don't like him, but I do like him in movies. But there's something about like his public persona that is a little too like I guess fake. I don't know. There's something fake about that guy. I don't know.
I don't care that
Anyway,
much.
uh,
What we're talking
yeah.
about?
So we got way off track. We started talking about Jumanji, and then I started
Okay,
talking about The Rock.
so back to
Um,
Jumanji.
yeah, back to Jumanji. Just a great fucking movie. It's got some really scary moments too, especially if you're a kid.
It's
Um,
been so long, I barely remember it.
like there's one scene in particular that I remember when um, one of the like traps or gimmicks that the board game comes up with to kill people
Huh,
is that where they're sitting suddenly turns into quicksand,
huh,
and there's like on a they're in an attic on a wooden floor, and Robin Williams like sinks into it up to like here, but
yeah.
then somebody else rolls the dice and something changes. I don't remember, and it just goes back to normal. So he's just stuck in the floor. And then giant spiders come and he's stuck. And it's not the spider part, it's the just the idea of being like sealed up in a floor all of a sudden is
Hmm.
really unnerving to me. I don't know,
Yeah, I think
I
that's
did not like that.
like the problem with teleportation, getting teleported into a
Yeah.
solid wall.
Yeah, it was one of those type of situations. Um, and then the giant mosquitoes freaked me out too.
Huh.
Um,
Like just a
there's some
swarm
scary
of
shit in that one.
tiny mosquitoes is bad enough.
Yeah, these are like big fuckers. And there's a scene where they're hiding in the car, and it's like tapping on the windshield, and it actually like breaks the windshield. Not completely, but you can see it starting to get through.
I think
That's
that's
pretty scary.
why people think it's like there's no way that could happen. Like windshields
No,
are really hard to break. But,
well, yeah, but they're like supernatural bugs.
well, it's a movie.
You know, they're fantasy bugs.
Yeah.
Like there's giant spiders in the movie too. So,
Okay.
um, yeah, that's one of my honorable mentions. Another one, and this is the one that I almost put on the list, and then I decided not to. Um, Big with Tom Hanks. Do you remember that one?
Is that the one with the piano?
Yeah, where they're dancing on the floor piano thing. It's got that iconic scene.
Yeah, that's
Um,
about all I remember of it.
yeah, I love that movie. Watched it a lot as a kid. I watch it now as an adult pretty often because for some reason it just kind of puts me in a good mood. Like if I'm down,
Huh.
I just like watching that movie. It makes me feel good.
Okay.
Um, it does have some one element in particular that did not age well at all. I can't even
Okay.
say it aged well because it was fucking creepy in the 80s too.
Cool.
Um, he's like a 12-year-old kid that magically gets turned into an adult Tom Hanks. And then he gets laid with an adult woman. And that's fucking weird and creepy. So I didn't put it on the list because of that. That makes me uncomfortable.
Uh, trying
Also,
to.
she finds out at the end that he's a kid. How bad is that going to fuck her up?
I mean,
Anyway, we'll move on before you say something really controversial.
okay, thanks.
You're welcome. So you already did your number three,
I
so
did.
I'll jump
And
in.
you were just doing honorable mentions.
Yeah, I just had to get those two out, Jumanji and Big. Um, and I added Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles because I didn't think of it until you said it. Uh, so I'll count that as one of mine too. But my number three is a group of friends on an adventure. It's the Sandlot.
Oh, okay.
I still watch it from time to time. It's just just great, man. It captures um, that summer childhood feeling of
3 months of vacation.
yeah, and of going out into the neighborhood and just not coming back until the street lights come on. Like just
Yeah.
spending all day out in the neighborhood on some crazy for your in your kid brain some crazy adventure. And all it was is them trying to get their ball back from a big dog,
Okay.
which turned out not to be a mean dog in the end anyway, because they're
Yeah.
kids and kids are stupid. But yeah, it just captures that feeling really well.
Yeah.
And
It's kind of a shame because it seems like nowadays uh, they don't do that anymore.
yeah,
Like
I
you're
don't know if they do.
stuck on
I
your
don't see
phone.
them out doing it, so I
Right.
assume they don't. But I also don't want to be one of those boomer type old people that's like, there's a fucking TV and the kids don't do the thing I did when I was a kid. So I don't know, because I don't have kids,
Yeah.
and I will say though, I don't see like neighborhood kids running around doing shenanigans outside.
Well, if you're, at work
So
all the
there
time and you don't look out
might
your
be.
windows, who knows?
Well,
But
yeah, but I mean, I like go to the store and I
mhm,
walk down to my gas station all the time.
okay.
I mean, I'm not that much of a hermit. Like I am outside enough that I think I would see kids playing outside, but I don't very often. It could also
Yeah,
just be where I live. It's fucking hot here.
it is. It's like it's like I do walk around quite a bit, and like
Hmm.
I'm the only one there, and the junkies and homeless
Yeah,
people. That's that's about
yeah.
it.
God, I remember in like the late 80s, early 90s, just um, I remember I had this friend Brian in like fourth grade or so, and I spent the weekend at his house one time, and it was on the other side of town, in Lawton, and
So the west
an
side or
area. So east side,
okay.
because we were on the west side, right?
No, you gotten
I
those
gotta get my bearings.
confused. I was
Yeah,
on the west side, or east side. You were kind of northeast.
yeah. Okay. Well, the other side of town, like out by Eisenhower, you
Yeah, that's
know.
that's the west side.
Oh, west side. Okay. Is it? Okay.
It is.
I have to think. No, shit, you're right. It is. It is the west side. I always have to think in terms of the mall because they're clearly west entrance, east entrance, north entrance, south entrance. Like they
Oh,
in
okay.
big black letters, it just says what entrance it is. So I always think like, okay, from the mall, where are we going? And that's how I get my bearings in that fucking town.
Yeah.
Anyway, the
I guess
point is
I think.
we uh
Go ahead.
we went out and just wandered around, and it was memorable for me because I had never been on that side of town, and my parents acted like that's where all the crime is, and there's going to be needles and junkies. It was the 90s, so of course, white people in
Yeah, it's
upper middle class areas were
like
terrified
New
of
York.
that area. Yeah, yeah, they made it seem like we were going to get recruited into a drug gang. Um, and we didn't. We just wandered around, and at one point we crawled into this big drainage pipe
It's
because
always
there's
fun.
that area of town where all those aqueducts are, and uh, we just crawled into this drainage pipe, and we had flashlights and shit, and we just kept going. And
Hmm.
in retrospect, that was probably
Flash
a
flood.
really bad idea.
Yeah, maybe.
But that was our idea of adventure. And then
I mean, I've always wondered where those go, but yeah, I've
we
never
never
had a
reached the
flashlight.
end.
Huh.
We just kind of got tired. And when there wasn't light behind us, we decided maybe we should turn back.
Nice.
Um, but the closest thing I got to a sandlot experience, where it was like a group of boys in some neighborhood, crazy all day neighborhood adventure, was actually a big fight that we got into with another group of kids. And we ended up like egging their house. It was that kind of shit, but it kept escalating. It was a series of escalations to the point where at one point one of them brought out like a bow and arrow and was
Okay.
shooting at us, and he hit one of the kids in the fucking calf. and
Ouch.
we were like setting booby traps and stuff. Yeah, it's a whole it was a
Huh.
whole thing. And the funny thing is, we were kids. It was all day. We just kept escalating to like a full blown gang war between 9 year olds. And
Lord of the Flies.
then the next day, like everyone just forgot about it. We just didn't care anymore. We moved on.
Hmm.
Yeah,
I guess we didn't have enough kids in our neighborhood to do something like that. It was just like me and a couple other guys.
yeah. I guess there really wasn't very many kids in your neighborhood there,
Or they weren't
because
outside anyway.
yeah. Well, there wasn't in mine technically because we were like, you know, the rich people up.
Hmm.
There was that hill that went down into the more kind of middle class, and we were sort of upper middle class.
Hmm.
So our houses were kind of up, literally up higher than theirs. And you drove down that little slope,
Yeah, out of
and
the
you were
flood
in
zone.
whatever that neighborhood was. That's where all the kids were. So I would always just go down there and make friends or enemies or whatever. So
Okay.
yeah. Anyway, that's my number three.
Yeah, it's like I don't really remember hanging out with friends that much. It's like I remember like going out to the farm and just exploring on my own, or like come back at dinner.
Yeah, I did that a lot in that creek down there, uh, which that's another thing too. It's so weird to drive past that as an adult, and it's been different for a long time. I mean, I haven't been to Lawton in years, but even when I was in my 20s and I still lived there, it was weird to drive over that bridge on Flower Mound that goes over that creek
Hmm.
because it's just a big highway at this point. But when I was growing up, it was like a rickety fucking tiny 2 lane bridge over this massive creek. And it was this whole area. I still have dreams about it. Um, and coming out of the creek and then going across that field, which is now a bunch of houses, uh, to my house. But yeah, now it's all different, and now I know what it's like to feel old. There's like none of that. It's an entire landscape that doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah.
It's not the same as like, oh, that used to be a field, and now it's a target. It's not the same because I spent like most of my childhood down there. So
Hmm.
yeah. Anyway, what's your number two?
Uh, Sonic the Hedgehog. So that was a more recent one. Like
That is very recent. I haven't seen it.
it took me a while to get into it. It's like because the first 30 minutes are like Sonic being a major asshole. Like
Okay.
he's just, I guess when I say asshole, I meant like idiot. Like he doesn't care about anything but himself.
Okay. Asshole.
Right. And then he loses his rings and has to go on a trip to get them all back.
Hmm. Okay.
And so, yeah, and then he learns values on the way and gets, so there's character growth there. I haven't seen the third
Yeah.
one yet, though.
There's a third one? I didn't even know there was a second one. I thought there was just one movie.
No, yeah, like I tried to, like the second one came out, and so I'm like, I gotta watch the first one, but I had a hard time getting into it. And then when I finally did, like it was good.
Hmm. Maybe I'll give it a chance then, because I didn't even not want to see it. I just didn't give a shit when it came out, which is
Yeah.
funny because I was a I was a fan of that video game
Hmm?
as a kid. I loved that game. And when the movie came out, I was like 40, and I was kind of like, yeah, I couldn't possibly give a shit, and I
Well,
forgot that it existed.
I will admit, like Jim Carrey comes back and he's Dr. Robotnik, and he does a
That's right.
fantastic job.
Okay, I'm sure he did. He did a great job. I mean, it's Jim Carrey, you know.
Yeah, he doesn't do a whole lot of movies these days, but yeah, he's great.
Yeah. Yeah, I forgot that was Jim Carrey. Who does the voice of Sonic? Do you know?
No,
I'm actually thinking of the Mario Brothers movie because there was all that controversy over Chris Pratt being the voice. I guess people thought it would suck, and I was mixing the two up in my head, I think.
yeah, I'm not sure. It's not Jack Black, I don't think.
Hmm. Actually, I can just look it up because 2025, and we can just look things up now. Sonic.
Yeah, I was thinking about getting those meta glasses to have it AI do it automatically, but
I guess it's a couple of people that I've never heard of. So I guess Jim Carrey's the big name there.
yeah, I suppose. But yeah, it's fun. Like his whole arc, like how he's like a normal scientist, and
Yeah,
then he like spirals into insanity. That's a really fun arc.
becomes a better hedgehog. Well, my number two was my number one for a while. And then, like, the last minute, like 10 minutes before we got on, started thinking about it. And the other one, I just have more fun watching.
Okay,
Uh, so my number one became my number two. So my number two is the Goonies. It's kind of the
okay.
classic kids on an adventure movie.
Yeah, I didn't want to mention
And
it because I figured that would, when you were talking about Sandlot, I was like, the Goonies.
yeah, yeah, there's a lot of overlap there. Um, going back to the Sandlot real quick, I was gonna mention I have a weird thing about the Sandlot where it makes me feel those feelings in like a lighthearted way, the same way that Stand By Me makes me feel that way in a really dark, fucked up way. Because that's a dark, fucked up movie. Um, and definitely not a family film. But it was a point that I forgot to make. So anyway, The Goonies is also kind of dark. Um, it's actually really dark if you think about it. You know, some of the implications of some of the stuff that happens in the movie. Um, a kid literally gets locked in a refrigerator with a dead cop, like like a corpse, and it keeps like falling on him and shit.
I guess it's so funny that just so
I mean, it
physically.
was funny, but and then when he gets away, he gets psychologically tortured by mobsters. Um, and it's funny because he's the fat kid. So traumatizing fat kids, you know, at least in the '80s, that was just that was
The
just
norm.
fun family film right there.
Yep. Now everybody's a
Um,
fat kid, so
but yeah, whereas The Sandlot is that kind of childhood adventure that you could totally see actually happening to a bunch of kids. Like there's moments that are exaggerated because it's through the minds of children, like the
yeah.
treehouse blowing up and everything. Um, but it's grounded in a way, whereas the Goonies is the childhood adventure that every kid kind of hoped would happen when he left his house to play.
Mhm.
You got
Yeah,
pirates and mobsters and
find a
a,
treasure chest.
yeah, and a big friendly mutant.
Mm.
Um, yeah, and it's got a good age range for kids too. I like that Josh Brolin is like the high school kid, and he gets involved, and
Hmm.
um,
Yeah.
the high school girls get involved, and it's just an all around fun movie, and it's got just enough of an edge to it, um, to
Mhm.
have like to have it feel like there's real stakes involved. So, yeah, and it was my number one, and then I realized it's really only my number one because classic kid adventure movie, at least from
Yeah.
the '80s, and that's all I was really going on. Um, but I'll get to the number one. Talk about why
Okay.
I bumped it up.
Yeah, my number one is Invader Zim.
Okay.
I guess they did come out with a movie, the Porpoise
Yeah.
Invasion on Netflix. Did you see
I
that?
haven't seen. Yeah, Netflix like updated it, right?
Well, they made a movie out of it.
Okay. I haven't seen it. Um, but I did watch a lot of Invaders in the early 2000s. I think that's when it was on. I had like
I
the at
forget.
least the first season on DVD. I don't
Yeah,
know.
I
Is
had
there
the.
more than one season?
Um, I want to say there's 3 seasons. I
That
think.
sounds right. That's what I assumed there was. Yeah, Invader Zim. Do you remember when that came out? Like what
Um,
year it came out?
I guess it took 4 years, but yeah, it was like early 2000s. I think 2001 to like
Okay.
2006. There's only two
Yeah.
seasons.
I didn't I thought that was right, but I also didn't know if I just hadn't heard of it until then. Um,
No, that's when it came out on Nickelodeon, and
yeah.
Google doesn't suggest
Um,
you let kids watch it.
huh?
Google says there may be some disturbing, frightful imagery.
Oh. I mean, I can kind of see that. I don't
Yeah,
think it's on the level. Well, there is the one. Do you remember the episode where he's like harvesting organs
yeah,
from
it
kids?
pops out their eyeballs.
Yeah. That's kind of fucked up, I guess. I can see that freaking out a kid.
Yeah, it's creepy crawly,
Yeah.
but it's my favorite. So there you go.
I I get it. I mean, as an adult, when I watched it in my early 20s, I thought it was phenomenal. I loved every second of it. In fact, you know, I had the DVD set.
Yeah, I
Um,
kind of wish it was an Adult Swim thing, and they could have just went crazy.
yeah, yeah.
But we got what
And
we got.
his little robot,
Sure.
Gurr, right? I was trying to think of what it was called. Um,
Floaty,
yeah.
Floaty's Pizza Hall.
It's not dumb. It's advanced. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of great one-liners. The tallest, just their whole society set up to worship the tallest. Such a
Yep.
appropriate uh, satire.
Yeah, that's a solid choice. I like it. And that is something that if I had kids, I would probably introduce them to that. I would,
Yeah, sometime. I'm not sure how old, because otherwise you might just give them nightmares. Okay.
yeah, it's got to be age appropriate. Probably like 6 or so would
But
probably
I
be
don't know.
good.
It's like because the guy who directed Color Out of Space, he was
Hmm.
saying his mom would read him Edgar Allan Poe as a bedtime story. or maybe it was
Wow.
Lovecraft. Might have been Lovecraft. But so yeah,
Hmm.
although he did turn out kind of crazy. So
I mean, Lovecraft would make more sense for the movie he directed,
yeah,
but I feel like Poe would be more not appropriate, but it would it
more
would
readable.
lend itself to a bedtime story better. You know, it's a little more
Yeah,
bite-sized. The language isn't quite as purple, and you know, because when I really like Lovecraft, for the most part. Another great example of an awful human being, but I still like the art that he produced. Um, but when I try to listen to an audiobook version of Lovecraft, I can't follow it
I
because
can't
he's
read it.
the way he
Yeah,
structures his fucking sentences.
well,
You have to be reading it.
a lot of the language he uses is very archaic.
Yeah. Whereas Poe is just a lot easier to follow, even if you're listening to it.
Uh-huh. Yeah, there's a prose to it, I suppose.
Yeah. Um, all right. Well, speaking of Poe and Lovecraft, my number one could have easily been a horror movie, but they made it a kids' movie instead. Um, and that is Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
Oh, okay.
Um, when I really started thinking about it, as much as I love the Goonies, I and the Goonies I think is an objectively like on paper better movie. Like it's just a better movie overall.
Yeah,
Um, but I still have an absolute blast watching Honey, I It is one of the funnest movies to watch.
I completely forgot about that. I
Huh?
think I I totally forgot that was even a movie that existed.
Yeah, it's not
And
well remembered either. Like I don't think a lot. Even when I talk to people my age,
I think we
they're
watched
kind of
it
like, "Oh
in
yeah,
theater.
was that a thing?" And then you show them clips and they remember it
Yeah, like
immediately.
giant ants. And,
Yeah. Um, it's just such a great, fun premise because I think every kid has imagined what it would be like to they imagine their bedroom as a giant landscape and what it would be like to be bug sized running around on it. At least I did. And
hmm.
I'm pretty sure that's a common kid thing. Um,
Well, I mean, just playing with your toys, you kind of, you know,
yeah,
project yourself.
exactly. Yeah. You use your environment as the landscape and everything. Um, I mean, you remember the staircase and balcony in in my house,
Oh yeah.
right? Like
Mhm.
we used to play on that with our action figures, and that was like the giant cliff that you didn't want them to fall off of, and yeah.
Or
And
you
then the
just,
stairs, of course, was like a mountainside. Um, and the movie taps into that feeling, I think. Really, it's just it's so much fun, and of course, it's got Rick Moranis, and
right.
he's the fucking best. And it was one of the few movies where he was like um he's the poster name, like he's
Right.
the big name for the movie, and
Like,
usually he's just a bit character. um
yeah.
so I appreciate it for that. It's one of his starring roles, and he didn't get very many, um or lead roles, I should say. uh yeah, and then it's not as dark as the Goonies, although there is a very sad moment, um, when the ant dies. But yeah, you get the shitty neighbors and that one kid that was like the shitty redhead kid in every uh, 80s movie. In fact, I think he's also the same kid from Big. Not the one that turns into Tom Hanks, but his friend. Uh, Let me look, because I'm doubting that whether he was that same kid. Jared Rushton. Okay, he was the kid in Big. Yeah, he's also one of the kids in Overboard. Apparently, he was in Pet Cemetery, but I don't remember who he was in that.
The little boy.
Now, he definitely wasn't the little zombie boy in Pet Cemetery. I don't know who he would have been. It's been a while since I saw that, but
I don't remember there being a lot of characters, not kids anyway.
yeah, I don't know. Anyway, yeah, that kid was all over the 80s, and then he just kind of disappeared. But anyway, yeah, and he always played just kind of a somewhat obnoxious, little asshole.
Um,
Um, Although in Big, he's he's got like that vibe, but he's not really an asshole. In fact, he's clearly one of the fun things about his relationship with Tom Hanks's character is that Tom Hanks, of course, is in the adult body, but his friend
all
is the
right.
more mature one.
Yeah. Didn't they make him buy beer or something?
Like what?
Like in Big, I thought there was a like they conspired and Tom Hanks went and bought beer for him. A group of kids. Is
No,
that
I don't.
not
No, I don't think that happened. I don't remember it, but yeah, I don't
okay?
remember that.
Yeah. Okay.
Um, but his friend is the one that like helps him get a job and like coaches him on uh, you
Huh.
know, how to go in the bank and cash his check, and he's the one who tracks down the magic um, fortune telling machine, and yeah, and then there's just little moments where Tom Hanks is being more childish than him, and I don't know, it's a fun dynamic. But in Honey I Shrunk the Kids, like he's just an asshole, just a shitty little asshole that's in every neighborhood, or at least was in the 80s and 90s.
Hmm. Okay.
But yeah, there you go. Honey I Shrunk the Kids, which even talking about it, I kind of want to watch it tonight now.
Yeah, I haven't seen that in forever, and I don't know, whatever.
Yeah, you should give it a rewatch. It might be one of those if you haven't seen it in long enough, it might be one of those that I have these where I'll stumble across a movie that I forgot existed from my childhood, and then I watch it and I'm like, that's where that memory came from. So I have a lot of memories that are just kind of free floating in my brain and I have no idea where they came from. And a lot of times it's just movies I saw as a kid and forgot about the movie but remembered moments from the movie.
Could be. Huh.
Like Are You Afraid of the Dark? Which I think I talked about before.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but I guess if that's all for family movies, we could talk
yeah,
about
that's all I got.
what's next. Um, right. I forgot about cyberpunk movies. Do you want to talk about those?
Yeah, we can do Cyberpunk.
Okay.
It's a top three list, so two of them are going to be dominated by
Yeah,
You
maybe.
know what movies.
Yeah,
So
probably. I have to avoid. Anyway,
I
you
guess we
got.
could do like cyberpunk movies, parentheses, no Blade Runner. And it'll force me to actually think about other cyberpunk movies.
Okay. Yeah, that works.
Yeah, we could do that. That actually sounds like a very challenging exercise for me because I really fucking love Blade Runner.